I knew I wanted to start writing at some point, and that's kind of why I came out here, and I started with Kid Harpoon. So Sweet Creature was the first song we did. That was like in my first writing sessions when I kind of started like, because up until that point I'd done a lot of sessions with different people, and I tried to write with as many different people as possible just to feel like, just to like learn. I just wanted to learn. It was like, the best way I've ever heard songwriting described is like, it's kind of like surfing in that you can practice getting up on the board as much as you want, and sometimes the wave just doesn't come. Or the wave comes, but you haven't practiced getting up on the board enough. Every now and again, you've practiced enough and the wave comes. So I kind of always wanted to be prepared to stand up on the board whenever the wave came. There was a part of me where I felt like all of the decisions I'd made as an adult that affected my life and what I was doing with my life had been made as a group. And I think there was a part of me that felt like I wanted to make some decisions for myself, where it was like, you never really had to make the decision, because I could put my hat in the ring but still be like, oh, well, majority rules and I got outvoted. I felt like I need to make some decisions that just affect me. You know, sometimes you don't want to go home and be like, I'm miserable right now, because you want to be like, no, I'm fine, don't worry about me. And that happens too, but also have the relationship with my family where if I need to have that conversation, I can. I've definitely felt a difference in the conversations that I have with friends. I guess since you like experience death more. When you're a kid and you lose a grandparent or something, and it's really sad, but also it's like, oh, grandparents are the people who die first. I think like the first time you lose like a friend is when you really feel like an adult. You're kind of like, wow. You know, I think you have those moments where, and every single person does it who's ever lost a friend, where, you know, whether you're close to them or not, I think everyone has that thing of like, I wish I'd just asked one more time if they were okay, you know? And if there's any positive thing that could possibly come out of that, it's that now the conversations that I have with friends about that stuff is way different in terms of like, you know, you ask a friend if they're okay and it's like, yeah, I'm good. And you're like, I'm like more prepared to have that like, no, but, you know. And that's like their conversations that I have with my friends now. Making an album, you obviously get so in your head and you get so like self-conscious about everything, and you hit these bumps in the road where you're kind of thinking, is this good enough? And is it this enough? Is it that enough? There's like an afterflow of some of that stuff where sometimes you take something and then for 10 days after you're like, don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine. Like what? It's like kind of stress relieving, and I'm just trying to go through life being a little less worried about stuff. Definitely with like working, because ultimately it'll be okay. It's like if you don't hit the top of the chart, your life doesn't change. Like I think realizing that, it's like, if that was what I was aiming at and then it didn't happen, then I'd feel so much worse. But redefining it for me has been amazing to be like, oh, but that's not the game I'm playing.
I used to watch this David Bowie clip every few days when I was making the album of him, and he's talking about like never play to the gallery, and he talks about you know, when you're trying to please other people is usually when you make your worst work, and that was really important for me. I think there was a moment where I felt like I should be making this kind of record, and then I had a conversation with myself. I said, no, you just have to, you know, make what you want to make, and I'm really happy I did.